happy to have me home. And that means they're very involved. There's a tail right, right here. There's a cat right next to me who maybe will make an appearance. Hold on. Okay, so we're doing this is like reintegrating into my body from flying and doing a red eye. I have had 1 night of sleep since that red eye. And we're also going to do lymph. And I feel like this is a really good time to do lymph work. And so my experience has been through doing breath work and doing lymph work, I've cleared my allergies really a lot. And then I got COVID and and the allergies all came back because my immune system was crapped up. And then I have cleared it out again. So I feel like this lymph work, breath work, moving a lot, body, walking, all that kind of stuff really helps. So we'll start with lymph. And this I learned from Dr. Perry Nicholson. Start with rubbing your hands together. This part I did not learn from him. Like, this is a general way to start anything where you're going to do hands-on. If you're going to do Reiki, always like get the energy into your hands, get the relationship and sensitivity into your hands first. And then taking your right hand to this upper left clavicle, you can kind of go above and below it. We're going to hit that subclavian vein where the blood is returning back into the heart. It has done all its filtering in your system, and now it's going to filter and refresh. And then all the waste will move through your body. So lymph is a huge detoxifier of your body, and so is breath. So maybe taking some big inhale and exhales while you're there, and then switching it to the other side, same thing. I also like to move a little bit while I'm moving. So I'm not just pressing in here, but I'm also moving what's underneath, so that between the underneath and the top, I'm really squishing those lymph nodes around. So left hand on the right upper quadrant, right around your clavicle. And I'm like yawning, trying to release my jaw, neck, and throat so that there's movement in the area. Relax your tongue. And then next place is this angle of the jaw. And I'm going to do both hands at the same time. I am just more gentle up there and my movement is slower. But listen into your own body and feel like, oh, if it feels like you're going too fast or too slow or too deep, change it. Acclimatize your sensitivity to yourself, right? So I'm going to do this area. I can also go under the edge of the jaw there. But for me right now, I'm feeling this need to pull down towards along my sternocleidomastoid. I don't know why, it just feels good. So listen in. If your body is saying, oh, please try and do this, this would feel good, do it, right? There's a lot of wisdom in there. And take your time feeling into what that is. Okay, I'm just gonna hit my back here. This is additional, just getting my shoulders and a little bit of the back of my neck awake and alive, gentle massage. You can also feel where you're tight. Like sometimes there's a really one side or the other, one area is tighter. Invite that to soften up and loosen up. Next place we're going to go to is right here, K27 points. They're just below your clavicle, and there should be like a little indentation right in there. Get in there. There should be somewhere where your fingers just go zip. That fits. Go in there. Although some people really have sort of protruding, everyone's a little bit different in their anatomy. I mean, it's the same basic stuff, but the way it shapes and forms is often quite different. So you might be the person that doesn't have an indentation there. Who knows? So this is a K27 point energy. It's like right above where your thymus is. So we're going to do a thymus thump. And if you feel like you want to, you can make some sound with that, like just vibrating that tissue. I'm going from the center out. So I've been doing mostly rubbing with you guys with the lymph, but you can also tap, right? Tap, thump is all good. And then right hand to the left, armpit, pec. So this, what we're doing right now, you can do it every day. there's so much about our own health that we can work with and take, I don't want to say take charge of, like, but we can like be much more gentle or healthy in our bodies in a lot of simple ways. Like get that morning sunlight, go out for a 5-minute walk, a 10-minute walk. Other side, same thing. Do this lymph flush, do some breath work, even if it's just a few times a day. It's not like we want to be huffing and puffing all the time. And when you start to learn really light breath work, light and deep, that can be some of the most profound. So, but just starting to create the relationship where you're noticing what you're doing, feeling into it, and how it makes you feel after you've done it. All right, next place is sternochyly, xiphoid process, spondyloid ribs, belly button. It's right smack dab in the middle. And it's kind of deep in our body. It's not right here on the surface, it's deep in. So I'm going to kind of sink and let my fingers poke in there. If we think about our spine, like our spine isn't just here on the back, it's really coming deep in the front. The anterior front portion of our spine is deep into our body, right? It's coming forward. It's not just back here. It's really taking up the space in our body. They're not small, like especially those bigger areas. They're really big. All right, next place is the inguinal fold, just above where your leg would bend, between your pubic bone and your hip bones. There's a lot of lymphatic in there. If you ever take the time to look at this, like just look up lymph system online, lymph nodes, and you'll see they're all interconnected and kind of little nodes with little lines, nodes and pathways that are going to the next one. So we want to clear that out or invite it to clear. And then the same thing behind your knees, eye of the knee, right in the back. So here's where my knee folds. I'm getting right in there and I'm doing kind of a round movement, like a circular movement, and I'm bending and straightening. And I can still feel on this right knee, which is way better than it was, but I can still feel that there's like some kind of inflammation in there, just a little bit. All right, let's shake that out. Take a bounce. So bouncing, rebounding, jumping on a trampoline, all that stuff is also going to shake up your body in a really good way. So I'm just going gentle. I'm not even jumping off the floor. Let's see what my feet are doing. I'm just doing this, a little bounce and shake, let it all go. And we're going to add a breath to this. You're going to inhale up and exhale. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. You can inhale and exhale a few more times while you're shaking, inviting your body to soften and release whatever kind of little holdings are in there. Let it go. Big breath up, get very long. Exhale, shake, shake, shake. And let it go. Whatever you feel like you're holding on to, see if you can just take that off for a little while. Inhale, open. And exhale. So in the movement world, in the embodiment world, and in many of the worlds, there's a lot of talk about trauma and like, oh, trauma are these holding patterns in your body and they're really holding you back. That could be true and probably is true, but it's also the messages that we've received on being a person. And some of them aren't super traumatic. It's just like, oh, that's how I'm supposed to be. Well, let me try doing that in my body. These aren't conscious decisions or subconscious decisions that we take on. And then we take these sort of patterns of, well, this is what I'm supposed to look like. This is how I'm supposed to move into our body. So when we're talking about holding patterns, it's not always like, it's not all trauma. It's also just existing on the planet right now. So it doesn't mean that we've taken in the best messaging. Sometimes, oh, maybe I can be a little easier. Maybe I can be a little more fluid with my body. All right, so one more thing while we're up here. We're going to do our twists. So spiraling, looking around behind you. This also is going to be moving the lymph, like inside your torso, especially in the back body, but also in the front. There's a whole system of lymph. And when we're spiraling, we're getting at that little bit of twisting. Like if we think of our body like a sponge, which is kind of a weird analogy, but fascia is somewhat sponge-like, some different types. There are many different types of fascia. There's sort of filmy fascia that's really kind of more like gelatinous with a little bit of fiber in there, keeping its form. And then there's really big bandy fascia, which is like your IT band or your Achilles tendon. And that is much more strong and obvious. All right, let it go, let it go, let it go. Let's take a forward fold, open your feet wide and just shift from side to side. Bend one knee, bend the other. Let your head really drop down. Let your shoulders really relax. If you're tight, I think most people in my room aren't bad, but if you need to put your hands on something, even a chair in front of you to get the movement, you can always do that. If you're feeling like you can't go forward or you need to protect your back or whatever, let it move. Let it have some freedom. All right, let's do one more thing up here. Internal, external rotation. This is in the arms. You can internally and externally rotate your legs too. Internal rotation, external rotation, if you want to. So that's up to you. If you've got the bandwidth to do both, do both. Internal rotation, external rotation. Cat-cow on the top and the spine, arms and legs hollow and round, arch and open. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. And now for shits and giggles, we're going to try the opposite. You are going to exhale, opening the front, and inhale, opening the back. So we're just changing the breath pattern. In reality, 60% of our lungs is taking up the back space, while it's more like 40% in front. And of course, I'm saying these percentages, it might be slightly different in your body, but for most part, the bigger amount of breath is in the back, bigger amount of lung space is in the back. So when we think of inhaling to open the back, it actually makes sense on a lung level. So inhale, open in the back, exhale, forward. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Yeah. So sometimes we think, oh, I'm supposed to inhale, exhale, and only this pattern. This is not true. There are things to gain from doing it the other way also. And you just want to start to notice what's happening. All right, I'm going to sit on a block. You can sit on a block or a pillow or just on your butt, whatever feels good to you. So even like having some rolled up towels, if you don't have a block or something to kind of thick and dense to get your butt on, that lifts you a little bit higher off the ground, is helpful. And we'll work with this hip joint, internal, external rotation. I'm going to flex my feet, hollow and round. We're also going to do that breath. We're going to exhale as we close, and then inhale, open. Opening the front, exhale. Really, we're closing the front, but we're opening the back, right? There's always this balance. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale, inhale. Come into center, we're going to change it. So we're going to inhale as we open the back. So closing the front, exhale everything out, and then inhale, open the back, exhale, open the front. 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 So we're just trying both ways. And it's interesting because like some systems want you to do it one way and then the other system wants you to do it the other way. So for example, usually in yoga, when you're spiraling on the exhale so you can keep going further. However, in gyrokinesis, often when you're spiraling on an inhale so you can get longer, right? So like if I exhale this way, I can go deeper, but if I inhale, I can elongate more. Or I can also elongate more on the exhale thinking about it, but then it's just a little bit more. So just be aware that if it's done one way, it can probably be done the other way too. And the real key to the whole thing is the awareness and then noticing what happens each time. So we're going to do this both ways. We're going to take it on the exhale first, exhaling, and then soften. Inhale, come back. Exhale. Inhale, come back. Exhale. Inhale, come back. And we're going to change it. Deep breath in. Wait, now we're going to inhale as we go back. So exhale everything out. Inhale. Lengthen. Exhale. Soften. Inhale. Lengthen. Exhale. Soften. Inhale. And exhale. And just see if you have a preference. So we'll go back with the exhale first. Exhaling on the spiral. Inhale as you come back to the front a little. Exhale, spiral. Inhale. Exhale, spiral. Inhale. We'll do one more. Exhale. Inhale. Try to do like 3 or 4 of each of these. Now we're going to inhale as we go back. So exhale everything out. And then inhale, lengthen. And exhale, coming forward. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale. Last one, inhale. And then let's go down the front. Knees bent or straight, whatever feels good to you. My feet are sliding on this carpet. That's why I am sliding them out. Not that I want to. And I'm just going to free up my spine, head to tail, let it move. Or you could think of tail to head, like I'm shifting my hips. That ripples up through my spine to my shoulders and then my neck and head. And I'm letting it have a little bit of a twist also. So it's not just, it's forward, side, side with a little spiral. Okay, and then coming up, and let's take the block out from underneath us and go all the way onto the ground. Yeah, so I took a red eye from California and I was like seated, sleeping as I was seated there with my neck all crunchy and everything. And it felt like I was awake the whole time, even though I was actually sleeping. Like in my sleeping, I felt like I was awake. But I mean, awake and asleep, awake and asleep. And there were a lot of large people moving through the aisle. So again, I was right by the toilet. So every time people were bumping me, which was funny. I was like, oh, there's a lot going on here. So my back from being in that position is really not super happy, but I'm going to roll from side to side, just massaging out my hips. Yeah, I kept getting bumped. In fact, I think it was actually the stewardesses. They were just like Viking size or Amazonian, large Amazon women going back and forth. And I was on the aisle. And no matter how much I narrowed myself in, I still seemed to get hit by people going back and forth. Open it up and roll from side to side. You can stay open or you can fold in and come all the way onto one side. So for me, this opening and closing, or not opening and closing, it's more about the rolling across my back and hips. This rolling is for me the most important, or one of the most important things when my lower back and hips are feeling kind of tight and yucky. But another thing I'll say about this trip, so I was flying back from San Francisco, is San Francisco Airport has a yoga room. And my flight was delayed. So I had, a good hour in there to move around, to roll around on the floor, and then also to do like a meditation for a while. So I was super excited about that. It's not very big, not big enough for a class, but definitely big enough for 4 or 5 people to get in there, or even more, maybe 6 or 7, move around. I always thought airports should have gyms in them. Like you could take a shower, you could do all your things, you could internally rotate one leg at a time, spiraling in. You could get a workout, get sweaty, and then take a shower and be like ready to go for the next thing. But the yoga room was pretty good, without minus the shower and all the other things, but the yoga room was pretty great. All right, let's come in and we're going to have our hands down by our sides, feet fairly wide, lifting your pelvis up, just circles to start out. We're going to do a whole bunch of things with this. Circling, circling, circling. Yeah, so what did I call this? Greasing the joints and hydrating the tissues and doing lymph. We've done a bunch of lymph, but all of this movement, when we shift our relationship to gravity, we move in different planes, change direction. We're hydrating our tissue. We're greasing up the joints through the mobility, through the movement. Okay, and we're going to come in, bring your feet in so that they're parallel, maybe a little closer, and you're just going to walk them out a little bit. So they're further away. You should feel your hamstrings firing up a little bit more there. And you're going to do a push-pull. So I'm trying to go on the diagonal with the push-pull. My feet are on the floor. Relax for a second. Flex your feet. Same thing. Relax, feet back down. Push-pull. Flex. Push-pull. Keep them flexed, 1 foot off the floor, and then back down. Going for a march. Should feel your hamstrings working. Your feet are a little further away so that the angle is greater than 90 degrees in your knee, if possible. Making the back body work in a slightly different way. Normally we have the feet right up, tucked up under there. And then we're going to change this. You're going to go up and point and straighten, flex it in, come down. Up and point and straighten, flex it in, come down. Up, point your foot, straighten your leg, flex it in, come down. Up, point, straighten, flex, bring it down. Up, point, straighten, flex it in, come down. Last one. Up, point, straighten, flex it in, come down. Okay, feet on the floor. Walk your feet in a little bit. Press up as high as you can. Take a big inhale into your lungs. Let your chest draw towards your chin. And then from there, keeping that lift, exhale some, and slowly roll down through your spine. Roll, 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 roll. Keeping the exhale. And then fill up your lungs again, or exhale more if you need to. So you should have had a lot of movement in your guts. This was a Leslie Kaminoff thing that I learned, this version. We'll do it 1 or 2 more times. Let me talk it through the first time. So I'm just going to tell you, we go up, we take a big inhale, we let our chest kind of come up to our chin, and then we exhale, keeping the chest up to our chin. So we're keeping this elongation. We exhale a whole bunch of breath, then roll down. So I just inhaled, but it's going to draw your, because you're rolling down, it's going to increase the vacuum and kind of suck everything in. There should be kind of a big sucking in, and then you just let your breath happen at the bottom. So I'll talk you through it as we do it. We go up, inhale, we exhale as much out as feels good. Doesn't have to be everything, but a fair amount. And then we roll down through our spine, come onto the floor. And when you feel ready, inhale and let yourself fill up. So I'm just showing you my belly so you can see a little bit what's going on in there. So I'm going to go up. However you go up, you could roll up, you could push up, whatever feels good to you. Take a big inhale. Keep that chest to chin feeling as you exhale. So you're keeping that lift in the upper body. Exhaling part of it out. Rolling down. And then as soon as you settle in, let everything fill back up again. We're just going to, that's enough. I don't recommend doing that like a million times, but if you are on the TV and you want to try it again, just rewind and do it again. Everybody in my room, we're not doing it again. Let's just do spirals, knees dropping from side to side. Letting your back relax, letting your hips relax. And then if you want to take it a little deeper, you're going to go all the way across. Oh, getting that massage through the back of the hips and the deep spiral. This deep spiral always opens up into my shoulder blades for me. And then coming with your hands on the floor, knees off the floor, feet off the floor, and doing the full spiral with both legs. If you want to, you can straighten out your knees. Really up to you, whatever feels good to you. Interference by the cat tower. Good. When you're ready, finish it off. readjust, come in. Sometimes that's a really traveling movement. This isn't made me realize I am too close to the cat tower for the next thing. All right. We're going to do the big circles with your legs. So, I have another thing I want to do after that with an X. So we'll start with the circles, legs up, hands under your butt, opening out, circling down, using your breath as big or small as you want. I'm going to point as I come up and then reaching through my heels and flexing as I go down. And I'm inhaling up and exhaling down. Often with breathing in workouts, often you want the exhale to be on the harder part of whatever it is you're doing. The exhale is going to give you the extra push to do the thing. A couple more times. Last one. Just shake it out, let it go. Let that shake down into your spine. Free up your head, tail, jiggle. You can add the arms. Shake it, shake it, shake it. Add some sound if that feels good. And then calm down, and we'll do that other thing, and we'll get off of our backs in just a minute. But we're going to open up into an X. So this is every time I go away, I discover, like I work out on my own and I spend time with something, and then I discover a pattern. I'm like, oh, this is cool. Why didn't I ever do this before? So this is going to be my new discovery, but we'll start with what we already know, which is elbow to knee, opposite arm to leg, and then sliding back out into your X. So coming up, mid-limb joints, elbow and knee. Your head can stay on the floor or lift up, whatever feels good to you. You can do a variety path, trying it out. So that is the first version. We're going to switch to the second version. Second version, straight arm and straight leg. Try to connect here right in front of your body. So like that's kind of solar plexus, right in front of my solar plexus. Third chakra. Moving out into the world, right? We're coming into the sagittal and we're opening back up. Well, and this is the sagittal meaning for your body key, not the room. So right in front of you, and then opening up your body. That if you were standing, you'd be in the vertical. All right, we're going to do the next version. So in this version, we're going to bring the elbow and knee together, straighten it out, open it up. Elbow and knee, lengthen, open. Elbow and knee, lengthen, open. Elbow to knee, lengthen, open. Then we're going to change it. It's going to go straight first. Straight, bend, slide it out. Straight, fold, lengthen out. Straight, fold, lengthen out. Straight, fold, lengthen out. And that's all we're going to do. Heel rock, find out if you have a preference in there, like anything felt good, anything felt bad. It's always good to know. Heel rock, I'm actually going to bring my legs a little closer for this. Digging my heels into the floor, sending a ripple of movement, like a wave, up and down through my body. Really relax everything. Let your belly and guts relax. Imagine your breath moving all the way down to your pelvic floor. It is not moving all the way down to your pelvic floor, but your diaphragm pushing down into your organs, giving them some movement, can make it feel like it is. And let go. Just take a second to feel your body there in stillness, just feeling your energy pattern. Maybe you can feel your heartbeat. Maybe you can feel your pulse, also known as your heartbeat, in different parts of your body. The rise and fall of your breath. And just invite anything extra that you need to let go of to let go. Any little crunchy mind chatter, let it go. It can always come back online. Any kind of like, I don't know, unhelpful patterning or ideas about yourself, let them go. Have this moment to just be a living body laying there on the floor, connecting into the earth through the gravitational pull. All right, we're going to do some leg stuff, which is going to involve a little bit of rolling from side to side. This is a very rolly day, and that's the hydration. So, but first just pick up your butt and give it a little shake, let your spine relax, let your lower back soften, and then drop it back down. We are going to take the right leg, reach it out, or left leg, either one, whichever one, reach it out at like maybe somewhere less than 45 degrees off the floor. From there, you're going to roll onto your side and then reach it down below you. You're going to roll onto your back and then you're going to roll onto your other side. And just keep it lifted through the same location as you roll from one side across your back to the other side. So just rolling and keeping that leg at the same height, thinking of it going straight down below you. So it's not Pilates piking. There's no fold in the front of your hip. That's long. As when you come onto your back, there's gonna be a little fold. But as you go to the different side, the two sides of your body, there isn't a fold. Okay, let's just try it with the other side. Same thing. So leg is reaching out. It's not quite up to my knee. It's like half level. And I roll onto one side and it comes straight underneath me. And then I come back, there's a tiny fold there. As I come onto my side, it goes straight underneath me. But I'm trying to keep it lifted off the floor about the same amount as I'm rolling from side to side. This roll is massaging out your back. The inner body is having to adapt to this movement. And at the same time, your leg is lengthening away from you. Okay, we're going to come back to our first leg and all the fun things are going to happen. So let's start on our side. So we're going to let's start parallel, just going low with this, going 1. We're doing these in sets of 4. Everything happens 4 times. 2, 3, 4. Turn it out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn it in, toes down. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to turn it out. We're going to go big high ones. 1, I'm flexing up, pointing down. 2, 3, 4. And then we are going to roll over onto our back. And we're going to flex and pulse it up. 1, 2, 3, 4. This time we go through the ball of the foot, tippy toe. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this time point. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keeping it parallel, we'll go for point, let's point up and flex down. 2, 3, 4. I can't guarantee I'm going to do this exactly the same everywhere because there's a lot of moving parts. So forgive me if I'm imperfect. All right, we're doing one more set. Turned out leg, straight down below you. Turned out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ball of the foot, tippy toes. 1, still turned out. 2, 3, 4. Pointed toes. 1, low. 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to kick high, point up and flex down. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to roll over. I'm just going to roll away from you for this. And I'm going to go parallel, flexed foot. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to go turned in. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then turned out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's relax and come onto our backs. Open it wide, big stretch, hamstring stretch, inner thigh stretch, lower it down, just getting the stretch through your leg. And then roll back and forth, rounding through your spine. And we're going to do some version of that on the other side. I'm just going to turn around to face you. Where did I even start? Starting with the top leg on our side, parallel. I think I actually know what I did. Reflex the whole time for this. 1, 2, oh, give you a second to get there. 1, 2, 3, 4, turn it out. 1, 2, right down below you. 3, 4, turn it in. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to kick up 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that's all we do there. This is where it gets more complicated, coming onto your back. This is the first time I'm teaching this series because I made it up while I was gone. And I mean, my God, it's like not like other people haven't done stuff like it. Starting flexed parallel, sets of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ball of the foot. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pointed toes. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then kicking up, point up, flex down. 1, parallel. 2, 3, 4. Now we turn out the leg, flexed foot turned out, 4 up. 1, 2, it's straight below you. 3, 4, ball of the foot, tippy toes. 1, 2, 3, 4, pointed toes. 1, 2, turned out leg. 3, 4, kick high, up and flex down. 1, inner thigh brings it up. 2, 3, 4. Good. That was a flex down. Roll onto your side. Flexed foot, pulsing up. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is parallel. Turn it in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn it out. Heel up. 1, 2, 3, 4. And relax. Come onto your back and open it up. So yeah, when I did this on my own, I was going always flexed, ball of the foot point for everything. So it was like 12 instead of 4 of most things. We did it on our backs. Or yeah, we did it when we were parallel with the legs coming up and when we were turned out. But I also did that with the turned in, with the side lying. Circle your ankles one way, circle the other. And let's roll over onto our hands and knees. And look at what time it is. Okay, we're going to do a few more things here. So I'm going to do a couple versions of this, and you can choose what you like. One version is just arch and curl with the feet going with it. So toes curl under, arch, and then taps the feet on the floor, curl. Second version, I'm going to do toes curl under, arch, just picking up my knees, dropping them down, tops of the feet to the floor around, picking up my knees, dropping them down. Just a little lift. Doesn't have to be huge, just a little lift. And then the last one is toes are going to stay curled under. You're going to lift. You're going to arch and curl there. And come down. Elbows and knees, and let's just free flow the spine. You can add the theta breath if you want to extend your exhales, which is just a soft hiss or not, really up to you. And you can play with different relationships in there. So for me right now, what I'm really aware of is this relationship of my elbows through my shoulders to my head and neck. So as I'm playing with that, the movement, the awareness is more in my upper body. I could play with my tail or my side body, my back body, my front. Just play with what feels interesting to you. Give yourself a minute in there to fool around and do movement that feels interesting. And then come up onto your hands and knees. We're going to take one hand high, circle it down and through. The other hand is going to go up. If possible, come around, reach through and grab your thigh. Pushing the floor away. You can use this hand to push down, chest opening. Relax your eyes in your head. And then unscramble, release, and come up. Other hand opens to the ceiling, threads the needle, come onto your shoulder. The hand that was touching the floor comes up, wraps around, grabs your thigh, if possible, pushing the floor away with the arm that's on the floor and looking out and up, or just closing your eyes and relaxing your face. Unscramble and release, come up. Let's go to elbows and knees again. Just trying to balance out the legs a little bit. We did so much front and side and inner thigh. Now we want to get to the back, up and down, going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to go cat-cow with my nose to knee and then bend in the back. Exhale, close. Inhale, open. Or breathe the other way. I'm so not counting. I'm going to do 3 more. Imagining that that is somewhere around 10. Relaxing. Just let your spine free up again. Shift around, child's pose if you need to. I don't think I'm quite ready for child's pose in my knee yet. All right, come back in, second side, straight leg up and down for 10. Going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then in and out, bent knee. 1, I'll count this time. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Bringing it in, come up, curl your toes under, take it to a downward dog, walk through your feet, just bend one knee and then the other, stretching out your calf and Achilles. Then lift your heels high, scoop your belly in, round your spine, roll it forward into a plank. From your plank, you're just going to shift to a side plank, come back, shift to the other side, come back, drop your head, push with your arms, roll it up to the ceiling, lower your heels. One more time, heels lift high, scoop your belly in, roll it forward. You can always put your knee down here if you want to make it easier. Side plank, same thing on this side. Let's from here roll it, take it all the way down, 10 counts to the floor, going 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So I watched this thing on Netflix. It's called Physical 100. And it's all these athletes, I think it's in Korea, and they compete to see who's like the strongest, most physical, whatever. And they go through all these different types of things that they have to do to compete. Some of them are strength-based. Well, there was nothing that was very flexibility-based. There was endurance and there was strength mostly. I was like, looking at this from like, there wasn't a lot that required like finesse and grace. Although one could say that a lot of the things did anyway, required that just to get good at them. There were like, I'm not going to tell you what the events were just in case you watch it, because it's cool not to know. Rock from side to side, but it was great. I loved it. Super fun to watch that. Lots of different types of athletes participating. From like, some of them were dancers, some of them were like weightlifters, bodybuilders, lugers, mountain rescue, ice climbers, all sorts of people. Inhale, lift, exhale, down. It's called Physical 100. Opposite arm to leg. Yeah, sometimes I don't want to watch like stories, even though we are watching stories when we're watching things like that. But yeah, there were like Olympic athletes in there, all sorts of people, a bunch of CrossFitters. There were no pole dancers. All right, hands next to your chest, arch up, round your spine, take it back. And there were women competing with the men. So they didn't do like a women's version and a men's version. Everyone was lumped in there together. Rounding your spine up and then take it back, or just hang out in your child's pose and breathe. And then come to sit on your butt in a straddle. Easy circles with your body, just circling around. As relaxed as possible so that we're letting the organs move, letting the rib cage and lungs move, letting the spine move. Like you're pouring your body around, and then go the other way. And then come in, and take it down and up. And then we're just going to stay on one side, reach it long, reach this foot away from this hand, really long. You can let yourself come down and let your butt pop off the floor, but then try to return your sit bone to the floor. So like from here to here, I get one stretch, but when I return my butt to the floor, I get this deep stretch in here. And then turn and face your leg. Walk it into center. Yeah, if they had had more flexibility stuff, a bunch of people would have gone out, like a bunch of the strong people. They didn't really have any flexibility stuff. It just shows where our idea of like fitness is really skewed into strength and endurance. Side stretch. Let that hip come off and then return it down to the ground. Yeah, there were no yoga people in there. And then take it down. There was a little bit that was, and there wasn't a lot of strategy. Like there were a few places where strategy could be involved of like how people made their choices, but not a whole lot. If you didn't face your leg, bring it to center and then come up and bring your legs in front of you. Give them a bang, rotate in and out, let everything get loose inside. Let's circle our ankles. We're going to do just a foot thing before. What you're going to try and do is spread out your toes and then squish them. Spread them out, wing them out, and squish them. Spread them out and squish and spread and squish. Spread and squish. And so you're doing this and this with your toes. Out and in, out and in, and out and in. Slide your feet underneath you. Taking your knees toward the floor. Oh, I can't do that yet. Taking your tail to the ceiling. If you can go into that fold, it'll stretch your foot. I'm still babying my knee. When you're ready, come up to a forward fold. Shift from side to side. Let your head and neck release. Yeah, it's a lot better, but it is not back to no pain. And then come in, roll it all the way up to the top. Ooh, scared the kitty who's sleeping next to the computer. Inhale, open. Exhale, let go. Relax your neck and tongue, relax your face. Inhale, open. Oh, let's try it. Take a deep inhale and then exhale up, exhale. Inhale down. Exhale up. Inhale down. One more, exhale up. Inhale down. Right, we get married to doing it one way, but there's often an interesting benefit when we try it the other way. So just notice into that, like, especially, I mean, I'm just thinking about this exercise that we did that when we were standing, when we were laying on our back, like the fact that I never thought of that before is ridiculous. There's so many variations that you could come up with doing that. And like all exercises that anyone has ever done, someone made them up, right? Like, and so it's just a question of trying things out in different ways and feeling what does it do in your body at any given time. There's the squeaks. Hi, baby. All right, I'm going to end the recording and just come back into the room. People in TV land, I teach this in a Zoom room. We talk before and after. If you ever want to join, go to my website. Let me know.